My dirty laundry is my age. Um, I'm, s- to celebrate my 50th birthday and my wife's 50th birthday, we went to Maui, and we just got back 2 weeks ago. My wife turned 50 over the summer, and I turned 50 1 week from tonight. And so to celebrate, we went to Maui, once in a lifetime trip, and we stayed at this hotel on the West Coast, and I love to snorkel. So one day, halfway through, I took my snorkeling gear and we walked about a half mile down the beach from our hotel to a place called Black Rock, which is a well-known snorkeling area in Maui. And it's known as Black Rock because the beach ends and there's giant volcanic black cliff that goes out into the ocean. But underneath is coral, so the fish are all hang out there, the big sea turtles, beautiful place to snorkel. The other interesting thing about it is people jump off the cliff into the ocean. It's awesome. And it's very cool to sit on the beach and watch them. So we went and I snorkeled. I spent the whole day snorkeling. And as we're getting ready to leave, to walk back to the hotel, it strikes me that it hadn't piqued my interest to jump off that cliff. And so as we're walking back, it's really striking me that, I'm turning 50 years old, and as a young man, doing things like that was something I really could not be talked out of. When I was 18, I told my parents I'm going to go skydiving, to which my father said to me, I don't care if you jump out of a plane with or without a parachute, but your mother is crying in the next room, right? I bungee jumped, I've jumped off of cliffs up in Hamburg. So, I started thinking about, I had no real interest in jumping off that cliff. So the day after, I put a photo of the beach and Black Rock up on Facebook. And my old college roommate comments, oh, I was in Maui just last year. Did you jump off Black Rock? Right? Now, I'm like, oh man, it really got under my skin. So it's the last full day, and I decide, we rented a cabana at the hotel, and I leave my wife in the cabana, and I take my snorkeling gear back down to Black Rock. And I snorkel, and I come back to the beach, and I'm looking at the cliff, like, am I gonna do this? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go do this. So there's two ways to climb up to this cliff. Where you jump is about 30 feet out of the ocean, and 30 feet above. And you can either swim out past the diving part, and then it's a fairly easy climb, at least it looked that way. Or you can climb from the beach up to about a 50-foot cropping, and then it looks like you can walk your way down. And there's some girl in a bikini kind of climbing across from the beach. And I'm like, if she can do it, I can do it. Mistake number one. So there's a couple signs there that say, warning, very dangerous, do not climb. And so I start making the ascent, wearing just my wet trunks. And about 2/3 of the way up, I see the girl has made it over there, but she took a different path than I did. I went up too high. And I got to the peak, 50 feet up, and it's a very narrow ridge. And I realized a couple things. First of all, I realized this girl was part monkey because the way she scampered up there. The other thing I realized is in Hawaii, volcanic rock is very hot in the sun on your feet, when you're uncalloused feet. So I'm standing there 50 feet up, and I realize I can't get down to where the dive is. And I realized, I turned to look down how I climbed up, and I realized I'm not going down that way either, and I'm stuck. So in my mind, I'm thinking, they're going to call the Coast Guard helicopter. My wife from her cabana is going to see it coming down the coast, right? And I'm like, I can't have that happen. So there's a chain link fence that leads to this private resort. All I have is, I'm in my bathing suit, I'm still wet. And so there's two guys taking care of this manicured lawn, and I wait till they're not looking, and I hop the chain link fence. And immediately I feel like I'm Burt Lancaster in the movie The Swimmer, like trespassing, just wearing my swimming trunks through Westchester County in New York. It's a classic movie based on a John Cheever short story. Except I don't look like Burt Lancaster. After 8 days of luau's and poke nachos and fish tacos and coconut porter and Mai Tais, I feel like a sunburned, Chris Farley. And I'm on this trespassing this private resort in just my bathing suit. And so, I start heading past all these hotel rooms, and the housekeeping is there, and I hear an elevator, and I peek around the corner, and it's coming up, so I hide. As people pass by, I hop in the elevator, and I'm thinking, I can't go out the lobby, because I know my hotel, it said you cannot go be in the lobby in just swim trunks, right? So I'm trespassing. And so luckily I got in, and it looked like parking was on a different level than the lobby. So I take that down, and I have to traverse out and around to the main road, and I'm walking down the pavement, there's nobody around. I'm just walking down the pavement. The only thing are lizards, that every couple steps, lizards start hopping into the bushes. And it takes me like 45 minutes to get back to my gear. and I'm like, oh man. So I pick up my stuff on the beach, and I just go back. And I feel so miserable. So the next morning, I get up, we have to check out of the hotel at noon and be on the airplane. And I say, you know what, I'm going back. And so Janine goes with me, takes my iPhone, and she sets up on the beach. I swim out. The waves are a little rough, but I make it up onto the easier way to climb up. And I get up to the top, and I'm standing on the top, and it's an amazing view, 30 feet up out of the ocean. But it's scary as hell. And I'm like, what the hell was I thinking coming out here, right? Do I really want to be doing this? And I'm standing there, and I have it on my iPhone video. I'm basically frozen for 60 seconds. When all of a sudden, I can hear this on the iPhone video, guys go in the water saying, do it, jump, you can do it. And they're being supportive. They're not not calling me a sissy or anything, but they're supportive. And so finally, the guy's like, go, do it, jump, you can do it. And so with that, I jumped, and it was glorious. That's my story.